What do you do when you're not feeling spiritually inspired or connected? Welcome back. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast, where we share ancient Torah wisdom and see how it can relate to our personal modern day lives. And in this series, we look at the Torah portion of the week, take a short idea that we can use to power up our week. I don't know about you, but have you ever had days where you're just not feeling it? You're not feeling spiritually connected, spiritually inspired. And whatever mitzvot you do or you don't do, you're just not feeling a spirituality that comes from the mitzvot. And maybe you're wondering, what do I do? Is there any point in doing a mitzvah? Is there any point in doing a good deed if I don't get a spiritual high from it, if I don't get a spiritual satisfaction from it? Is there a point to doing a good deed with no heart involved? So the answer is yes, it's worthwhile. And I'll give you a couple of examples to show why it is. So I was listening to a business coach who was talking about how the difference between those who are successful in business and those who aren't. And he was saying that a lot of times the reason why people fail at business is because they don't treat it like a 9-to-5 job. What did he mean by that? He meant when you have a 9-to-5 job, you go in and you do your job and you come home at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and your job is done. But you go in every single day that you're employed to work for. And it doesn't matter. You wake up one day and you're just not feeling it. Doesn't matter. You get dressed, you go in and you show up at the office at 9 and you work until 5. You do what you have to do. So as business people, sometimes when they're running their own business or when they're starting up their own business, when they're feeling inspired, they put in all the effort, but then there are times when they're not feeling inspired and they slacken off. Whereas successful business people, what do? Is they treat it like a 9-to-5, and they go in and they show up every single day and they do what they have to do regardless of how they feel. I'll give you another example where this shows up. Exercise, right? Whether you're feeling inspired to work out or not, the effect of the exercise that you do is exactly the same. If you feel like, yay, I can't wait to go to the gym, and you're motivated and you go and do a workout, it'll have the exact same effect on you as if you go, you're not feeling it and but you push yourself and you do it anyway, regardless of whether you are or aren't feeling motivated. You still have the same positive effects. And the same is true with the spiritual world, because there is a spiritual reality. And God tells us how that spiritual reality works. He says, if you do these mitzvot, then they will have a positive spiritual effect. When we do a mitzvah, regardless of the fact of whether we feel the spiritual connection, we are actually creating a spiritual reaction. And the same is true with the negative commandments, right? If a person does a negative thing, we may not feel the spiritual regression. When we talk bad about someone else, we may not feel how we are creating distance with another person, how we are creating negativity within ourselves. But that spiritual action creates a spiritual reality. For example, there's a mitzvah that's called shatnez, which means that you're not allowed to wear a garment that has wool and linen mixed together. And we're told that a person who does that, it limits their ability to concentrate on the prayers. The actions that we take, they have an influence on us, whether we realize it or not. We see the same idea in this week's Torah portion, which talks about the Jews coming out of Egypt. It was time for them to come out of Egypt, but they didn't have enough merit. And therefore, God gave them 2 mitzvot, the mitzvah of the Pesach lamb, the Paschal lamb, and the mitzvah of Brit Milah, in order so that they could demonstrate their relationship with God. Life has ups and downs. Life has times where we feel more connected, more inspired. And life has times when we feel less connected and less inspired. And all this is normal. But what we have to understand is that our emotions shouldn't dictate our actions, because our actions have influence. Our actions make a difference. And all we have to do is we have to commit to keep on trying, to keep on learning, to keep on doing, regardless of how we feel. Life has ups and downs. All we can do and all we're expected to do is to keep on trying. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Please check the show notes for my current offer of a free one-to-one call and how to book it. And meanwhile, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. And share the love with anyone who would benefit. Thank you, have a great day, and happy Hanukkah.